In the novel of The Great Gatsby, both book and films, carelessness is almost a virtue. Almost every character strives for just one thing and don't seem to care how they get it or what people think of how they get it. The main character of the entire story, Jay Gatsby, is even represented as careless. He strives for that one goal. That one goal is the green light.
When I arrived home, I noticed that a figure had emerged on my neighbor's dock. And something told me it was Mr. Gatsby. He seemed to be reaching towards something out there in the dark.
The theme of carelessness is shown by surrounding the narrator, Nick, with all these people that have all these different ambitions. They're selfish ambitions that drives him crazy and makes him sick. The very first people Nick encounters is his cousin Daisy and her husband Tom. Right off the bat, there are your first two careless characters. Daisy just wants to have wealth and always be satisfied with that wealth. Tom wants to be satisfied with women, and his wife isn't good enough for him, so he cheats on her with a woman named Myrtle.
Cannon! Candy?
No, thank you.
No?
Mrs. Wilson?
Okay.
Nick Carraway.
A pleasure.
Nick's the writer.
Oh,
I'm in Bonds, actually.
I want you get on the next train.
now?
Yes.
Can we get the dog for the apartment?
Whatever you want.
Hey, Mr. Buchanan, you want a soda?
I'm fine.
No?
Call your sister. She like him.
No. That's all right, thank you.
Catherine's said to be very good looking by people who ought to know.
Really, I can't.
Hey, you want to embarrass Myrtle? That's rude.
Nick also meets Jordan Baker, a self-proclaimed careless person, which actually attracts Nick to her. He thinks she's a little dangerous. He is eventually invited to Jay Gatsby's party, where he meets the famous Jay Gatsby. Gatsby, as stated before, is among those of the careless people. That green light he wants, that's Daisy. He hosts these giant parties where people vandalize his place and turn it into a nut house. He doesn't care, though. He just hopes Daisy will one day show up. He even asks Nick to invite Daisy for tea so he can see her, so he can show off his wealth, so he can show he can provide for her. Jay Gatsby is at the point of obsession when it comes to Daisy. It's to a point where it seems that if it doesn't have anything to do with Daisy, he doesn't want to hear about it. It's to the point where he is putting too much pressure on Daisy because he wants her to admit she only ever loved him. He doesn't consider she would think anything else. Also, after the wreck and death of Myrtle, he didn't care about Myrtle's death. He just cared about how Daisy was, which, in the film, drove Nick to the point of exploding and going off on Gatsby.
Just sitting here.
Yes, I see that.
You see any trouble out on the road?
That woman you ran down is dead, Jay.
I thought so. I told Daisy that I thought...
Daisy, do you hear yourself? How could you? How could you do that? What's wrong with you? You're nothing but a goddamn coward!
Keep your voice down, Oldwood, please. There was no point in stop.
No point! No point! What about that woman?
No point. She was killed instantly.
Yes, it ripped her open. I was there. I saw her.
I understand. It was my fault. It was my fault, this woman. She rushed out at us as if she was...
Even after the event of the crash, Daisy doesn't contact Gatsby. She stays with Tom because she thinks it will be the least bit of risk for her. George Wilson, Myrtle's husband, began looking for his wife's killer, and what did Tom do? He sent him to Gatsby and led Gatsby to his death without a single ounce of remorse.
I know, Mr. Gatsby, will be very happy that you've called.
This makes Nick realize what he has surrounded himself with, and he is absolutely disgusted with this town and its people, even saying to Gatsby earlier that he was better than the whole lot of them, and calling Daisy and Tom careless people. Nick was just about fed up with everything after Gatsby's funeral, which I might add, nobody but Nick, Jay's father, and Owl Eyes came to. He broke up with Jordan, packed his things, and got ready to leave. The Great Gatsby just always introduced these careless characters that we were supposed to follow for the entire book. It showed us the people that you hope you won't be. Nick didn't want to be one of them, so he left all these people in his life because of the disgusting society he was a part of. F. Scott Fitzgerald was trying to show the messed up world we live in, and I think he did a good job.